looked like silvery looking, brown silvery dots looking straight at me. I'm like, what? So I got down on my hands and knees, crawled up to it, and I was looking at it, and what I saw looked like let's see if I can do it this way. Imagine this is the top of a head on the inside of my fingers here, and you have these two little round dots or circles for eyes. And what I'm seeing is this, okay? Little head, little eyes looking in at me. And I was like, oh, and that's when I realized I was looking at a juvenile, a wee squirt of a baby. The head was only about this big, and I could see its eyes, which were about the size of dimes, back at me. And I turned off the flashlight. I said, I'm sorry, dude, I didn't mean to hit you with the eye or hit you with the flashlight. And he was like, blink, blink, blink. And he just looked at me, and I was like, you're cool looking. And I could see his little forehead. I could see where his eyes were, and I could see his partial nose and his little bit of his upper lip. And he was just staring, and I'm staring right back at him going, you're a cool little kid. And I felt like I was down with him for like 5 minutes, just talking to him, going, oh, you're neat, you're cute, you are cute, you are so cute. And whatever's sitting just off from what I'm seeing in my little vent, he gets pulled away. And it's like something just kind of grabs him and goes like, okay, we're done looking at the human, and picks him up. And I hear walking out towards the road. I was like, oh my God, please tell me I got this on video. Please tell me I got something on video walking away from me. Nope. I got nothing. I got weird images, but I didn't get that image. And I didn't get when the guy was coming up and down and unzipping the tent. I'm not sure how or why I didn't get it. Do I think that they can manipulate the electrical stuff? No, I don't think they can do that. I think there's other things that may be at play here, but I don't think it's that. So I just sat there like, this is weird. So I decided to kick back, and it felt like there was some time, that nothing was really happening. And I hear something coming in, and it's coming from my right. It takes I can hear it. And it stops right here. It stops on the side of my tent. And I'm like, what the hell? And what I start to hear, now I can still smell the smoke from the fires. And what I hear is, and this wasn't Jim, because Jim's way over he's over there. Whatever this is over here is having a hard time breathing. And it's almost like he's having a hard time breathing because of the fires that are happening in Colorado. And I was like, dude, you don't know how bad I want to come out of this tent and put my ear to his chest, because I could almost hear the crackling sounds of his lungs while he's breathing. It was freaky. And I was like, oh my God, this is absolutely weird. This is weird. And people have said that they sometimes hear the Darth Vader breathing. And this is what this was like, except it wasn't go. It was really this sound. I'm like, oh my God. And I just sat and listened to this guy. It felt like an eternity in that tent listening to this guy making the sound. And I was like, oh my God, I feel for you, because that sound was just wrong. And I was like, oh God, oh please God, I said, you need to get down into the earth. If you got a place to get deep into the ground, get away from the smoke, that's better for you. If they don't have a place to do that, they're hosed. They're hosed across the board, because this guy was suffering. You could just hear it. You could hear the kind of like this sound in his breathing, and I was like, oh my God, this is just not right. Again, my body wakes up and says, hey, you got to go pee. So I was like, oh, crap. I said, dude, I'm coming out. And so I unzipped the tent. I hear him get up, and he walks back behind back into the darkness. I walk around the tent. I'm looking carefully. As I walk around the first time, I really didn't see anything. As I came back around to the front of the walkway, I found a walking stick that was never there before. But there was a walking stick like it was gifted to me to use. And I thought, well, that's weird. And I took a photograph of that, and I'll put that in one of these two spots. And I thought that was really cool because on one end, you could see it looked like it was chewed on. On the opposite end, it looked like it was ripped right out from a tree and kind of like worked a little bit, but it was still kind of rough. And I was like, dang, that is crazy cool looking. So I walk around and I'm checking all the things. And one of the pictures, as I'm walking around my tent, there's a set of eyes that appear. And they're way above me. Like, as I'm walking around it, there's a guy standing somewhere behind me, a lot taller than me. And, you know, even though you see these little dots of things here and there are two dots that are lined up, and they're way above me. And there's really no big trees behind me outside of this big old pine tree that really has nothing. There's no low branches on it, so he's not climbing up in the tree. And to get to where this where the ground kind of goes up, there's a mine back in there, but as it goes up, I think he's a lot closer than what you would think, because you can see the teepee and you can see me. It's like the teepee and then me, and then the eyes are way up here, but they're slightly back. And I was like, when I saw that picture, I was like, oh crap. I mean, he was really close to me. Again, if Sasquatch wanted to kill me, that was a good time to do it, because I was alone. I was outside in the darkness. Jim is like sleeping away in his tent. I'm vulnerable. I could easily be taken. But Sasquatch just doesn't do that. For whatever reason with me, I have a great rapport. I don't understand what the connection is. I do have a greet, and when I get out of the tent, I do my greets, and I think that is the greet that I have, the greet that I acquired in some weird way. They know that as friend or friendship, and there's no problems between me and them. At one point, I come back to the tent and I get all nestled in. Now, when I went to the bathroom, when I was out there, I went down into the darkness, and the trail splits off. It kind of goes to the left and then goes further on back. And I heard them back over here where it splits off to the left, and I heard them to the right. And I went towards the left, and I had to go to the bathroom. And that's where I choose to pee, is right there. And I could hear them taking steps, like kind of walking around me, you know, just kind of watching, but no glowing eyes, none of that, none of the cool effects. They're just kind of sitting in there in the darkness, just watching. And then when they got done, my hairs on the back of my neck were standing on end, everything. But I wasn't freaked out by this. I was kind of enjoying the interaction that I was having. I was wishing Jim was up so he could experience some of this, but he was asleep, and I was more in the trees now, and he was out in the open in front of a little forest. So I hiked back around and came back down through. I didn't know how close these guys were to us, and a couple of years, it was last year, I discovered they were really close to us, because I began finding mounds last year. And these mounds were like, there's where the trailhead goes up and it splits off, there's these pockets of trees, these pockets of forest. And I went through one of those forests and I found a mound. And I was like, what? And I found these boulders that should not be there in kind of next to things. And I found an area where trees were crisscrossing and stuff. I'll post that little short video onto this. Instead of a full-on video, it's like a 1 minute video or something. But it shows me standing over something that's got depth. And I started finding these areas where it looks like something punched a hole into the ground where there's a cavity. And I was like, that's a perfect spot for a hiding. You know, you could be in there, move the boulder aside, crawl inside it, move the roller boulder back, and kind of block your spot. You could sit within 30 to 40 feet of our campsite and go undetected, never be seen. Okay. Change of clothing next day. This video came out a little bit late. I was trying to finish it off today at work and I couldn't do it. So I ended up going to sleep. At some weird point in time, I fell asleep. When I got up, we decided to fly my drone. And in the next couple of videos, all you're going to see is drone flight. But this drone flight crashes. And you're going to see the beginning parts of it where I'm flying around. I kind of showed it in the first video, or in the second video. You're going to see the same takeoff, and you're going to see you're going to see more of the drone flight about what we were doing and what I was seeing. There is an object, and I want you to look for this thing because it's kind of intriguing. But as the drone is flying around, you'll see me stop and look at this thing because it's weird. There is like a 45-degree pitch, and on the side of the mountain, it looks like a fire ring. It's weird. It is. This should not be there. There should not be a fire ring at a 45-degree pitch. That just doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense for that thing to be there. But in the middle of this really tight fire ring sits this object, and it's like this, and it has a weird looking tear shape to it. I should actually 3D print this sometime. It'd be kind of a fun thing to have it sit on there. But this thing is weird because it's reflecting light. It looks like a big orangish yellow looking crystal, and it is weird looking up on the mountain. So where our campsite is, it goes all the way up, and off to the side, way over here, there is this weird crystal, and it is big. It is probably like, it's got to be like this big around by, I don't know, let's see about my hands together. It's got to be something like this, because the drone saw it, and or I saw it as I was flying by. I went, wait, what was that? And I spin the camera around, and I get back, and I look at this thing. I'm like, what the hell is that thing? And it is pretty darn crazy looking. I think I was talking during this video, but because I was filming some of it this morning before I went to work. So I'll get back to you here in a minute, and then I'm going to play this thing out. Maybe I won't. I don't think it will. I think what I'll do is just finish it off like this, but you're going to watch the video here in a minute of the drone flight. That in the next video on Sunday, hopefully, it'll be, the drone will be crashing. And there is something that happens as the drone comes out of the sky, and I go running for it. Because I actually was watching it on the thing as it was coming down. I was like, Jim, the drone's going out of the sky, and we went running down to the road. Jim veered off and went to the left, and I would cut right through the forest. And I was tracking it with my my cell phone and the device that it was attached to. But I got to see a Sasquatch down there, and this Sasquatch was drastically different than any Sasquatch I've ever seen before. But anyway, my name is Patrick, and this is Sasquatch in the Wild, and this is the beginning of just before when the drone falls out of the sky. Talk to you later. Hope you're enjoying the journey. Bye.